Alejandro Mayorkas is getting an earful from House Republicans for the administration's handling of the crisis at the border. While Secretary Mayorkas claims a significant reduction in border encounters, Republicans say the administration is playing a shell game.
This administration has abandoned any semblance of border security and immigration enforcement, and Americans are paying the price, and they demand accountability. Only this administration and my Democrat colleagues would call it a success.
The chairman and his colleagues in the majority will use today's hearing as a predicate for a completely baseless attempt to impeach Secretary Mayorkas.
Our approach to managing the borders securely and humanely, even within our fundamentally broken immigration system, is working. Unlawful entries between ports of entry along the southwest border have consistently decreased by more than half compared to the peak before the end of Title 42.
And you know how I'm always talking about the interesting timing of things. A federal judge has blocked the Biden administration's asylum policy, which it used to reduce border crossings when Title 42 ended. Remember, that was that health COVID era a restriction that former President Trump had put on at the border to try to slow the numbers down. Biden let that expire. The numbers still are eye-popping. Some 1.7 million reported border encounters through June of the current fiscal year. And the fiscal year, by the way, started on October 1st. So we're not talking about a whole year yet, a whole calendar year, just a few months. Tom Homan, Fox News contributor and former acting ICE director. Art Del Cueto, vice president of National Border Patrol Council, representing some 18,000 Border Patrol agents. Gentlemen, great to have you in focus right now. So, Tom, I'm going to come to you first. Mayorkas, seeing him in that hot seat and being told, come prepared, your top line thoughts.
He needs to be impeached. He should have been impeached a year ago. What this man has done, he's violated the oath of office he's took. He's an embarrassment for the position he holds. He sits here under oath and tells Congress that illegal entries are down 50%. When he knows what he's doing, he's taking thousands of people who enter illegally and pushing them through a port of entry to an unlawful program that he created. He's violating the Pro statute by bringing thousands of illegal aliens to a port of entry that he knows don't qualify for asylum based on 10 years of data. And he's doing that so he can say, well, the less people are entering illegally. Well, of course less people are entering illegally because you're taking thousands and bringing them to the port of entry illegally. It is a shell game. Jim Jordan is exactly right. If you take the thousands he's bringing through the port of entry illegally and add that to the Border Patrol apprehensions, I think they got just less than 6,000 last night. You're still around 8,000 or 9,000 a day, sometimes as high as 10,000, which is historic. He's lying to the American people. He's lying to the members of Congress. He created an illegal system that he will lose in court when the 20 states lawsuit finally comes to court.
It is amazing. It's almost like you're still doing this. Like you know day by day how many people are coming across. Mayorkas can't even give us that information.
Well, look, anybody can go to cbp.gov and look, the port of entry.
I don't know, maybe he didn't.
The port of entry, they're up over 300%. The port of entry is up over 300%. Why isn't he talking about that? He talked about the number of encounters nationwide last week, but he only talked about the southwest border. He didn't talk about the airports like Miami Airport, bringing thousands a month in illegal aliens to the parole process. He's using airports. He's using the northern border. He's using the southern border, but he's not telling Congress and the American people exactly what he's doing. He's lying to the American people, and he's lying to Congress under oath, which is a crime in itself.
Yeah. Current and former border agents are furious, claiming the Biden administration allegedly retaliated against El Centro Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bovino for being honest about the border crisis. Former Border Patrol Chief Rodney Scott claims the administration is, and this is a quote, trying to silence for providing testimony to a House investigation. Scott also says it's just another horrible message to send to the troops as they grapple with the surge in migrants. The CBP has denied any allegations of retaliation against Bovino. So, Art, I come to you. You know, when morale is already stretched and under pressure, what does this do?
it destroys the morale even more. And getting back to, talking about Secretary Mayorkas, they don't even know how many people have been crossing. I mean, they can talk about the encounters, but they don't know how many people have crossed because the agents aren't working in the areas that they should be working. They're busy with administrative duties, so they don't know how many people have come inside and gotten away. And obviously you see retaliation on some of the individuals. There's some of us that have been, being truthful and speaking the truth for quite some time. Unfortunately, you see some individuals that they wait till they're near retirement or they wait till they're retired to actually start telling the truth. And a lot of that comes from the leadership. Tom Homan being the exception. He's always been able to come out and say, hey, this is what's happening, this is the truth. But, there's a lot of individuals out there, they wait till they have a cushy job outside or they wait till retirement before they decide to speak up.
I'm going to ask my team if they can... Okay, actually, I'm not going to do that. We're going to listen to Representative Chip Roy as we dip in here. Let's watch part of this hearing with the Secretary of Homeland, Mayorkas.
Period. End quote. Followed up. I said, I read to you the definition of operational control. I actually held up this chart. Operational control as defined under the Secure Fence Act. Put it up for plain reading, plain as day. I put up the second part of the same statute, which defines operational control. Means the prevention of all unlawful entries in the United States, including entries by terrorists, other unlawful aliens, instruments of terrorism, narcotics, and other contraband. I said to you, do you stand by in your testimony that we have operational control in light of this definition? You responded with, quote, I do, period, end quote. Earlier, you testified, I didn't give you a chance to finish. Yet you specifically, when asked and held up a statute defining exactly what operational control meant under the Secure Fence Act, you said, quote, I do. I believe that was purposeful. I believe you want the American people to believe we have operational control of the border when we very clearly do not. Less than a month later, in Homeland Security, you testified, quote, under that strict definition, this country has never had operational control. This year, House Homeland Security, then Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz testified before the Homeland Committee that DHS did not have operational control of the border, either by the statutory definition or not. Now, that is an honest answer. In the Senate Judiciary Committee, shortly thereafter, you testified with respect to the definition of operational control, I do not use the definition that appears in the Secure Fence Act. And the Secure Fence Act provides statutorily that operational control is defined as preventing all unlawful entries in the United States, and by that definition, no administration has ever had operational control. If you will recall when you testified here in front of me when I asked that question, when you very clearly stated, we do have operational control, when presented with the actual definition of operational control, you didn't hesitate, you said, I do, and you in fact then referred back and said, I believe that my predecessors would have said the same thing. I asked Chad Wolf that question in this room, and Chad said, well, no, we didn't use that framing to say we have operational control. We're striving to achieve operational control, but you didn't do that. You looked straight at the American people, straight at me, straight at every person on this committee and said, we have operational control. Why?
Congressman, 2 points. One, you did not let me complete my answer. Two.
Hold on. Give me your second point. Go ahead.
Thank you. Two, the Secure Fence Act defines operational control as not a single individual crosses the border.
I'm aware. I read it, and I read it to you, and you read it, and in fact, you said, I do. You didn't hesitate. You didn't say, I do. I need to explain what I mean by I do. You said, I do, over and over again. And here's the problem with that. This is a pattern. Did you lie another time when you said on September 24th, 2021 at a press conference, quote, we know that those images painfully conjured up the worst elements of our nation's ongoing battle against systemic racism when responding to the alleged whipping incident by the Border Patrol agents who report to you. When in fact, on October 22nd, 2022, it was reported that 2.5 hours before that press conference, Marcia Espinoza, Assistant Secretary of DHS Public Affairs, emailed you and CC'd other DHS leadership, alerting you all.
All right, we have breaking news on the other story that we're covering. We'll come back to that hearing. That was getting fiery. As you saw, the representative